I remember what feels like so many years ago now, how I used to watch you sleep so peacefully while you laid beside me. But then again, you always did work so damned hard, probably why you slept so well. Now, you just sleep all day, every day, and when you're awake, you don't even know me. Like every little memory we cherished, every feeling we had just gone with a click of a finger. Because of this fucking thing, this Alzheimer's. I'm gonna turn it till the on or off.
It's already off.
You want to know my story? Do you want to know how I feel? Well, sit down and listen. Turn to the door. You want to know my story? You want to know how I feel? Eh? Wait, just stop. I'm working here. I'm practicing. You want to know my story? Do you want to know how I feel? Well, for this story, I'm going right back to 1969 when me and Tommy first met. Oh yes, to be honest, we didn't even say 5 words to each other. And I knew then I loved him. I knew then that this was the man I was going to marry. The man I was going to spend the rest of my life with. A year later, me and Tommy had bought our first house, and later that year we married. I would say it was a very 60s wedding. I wore a white lace trouser suit with white lace never mind that. I'm getting off the topic. Anyway, it was fantastic, especially because I got to show off my dream man, and even knew my best friend wanted him. But she knew she couldn't touch, or else. 3 years later, I was at Barnsley Hospital. It's time to give birth to my beautiful baby girl. But it's a funny story. For the 9 months I was pregnant with her, I didn't want her. Until I saw her face and heard her little cry. And I knew she was mine to love, to hold and to cherish. My lovely daughter Debbie. 12th of January 1999, the 3rd happiest day of my life. On this day, I got to meet my grandson Eddie. It was the most amazing day for me. Not for Debbie. But for me it was getting to hold him in my arms for the first time. He was the little light in my eye. I didn't know then though what type of child he was going to be. He came out hungry, and he ate then like he eats now. Like a pig. 2015. Now we're getting to the worst day of my life. This was the day we found out that Tommy had Alzheimer's. There's not much I can say about how that day went. I remember getting to the hospital, sitting down, waiting for Tommy's name to be called. It was like waiting to be hugged. Debbie said we'd been waiting for 10 minutes, but it felt like hours. I just needed it to be over so I could go home. Tommy Peters. When I heard that, I said to myself, yes, we can go in that room, be told everything's fine, and we can finally go home. But life had other plans. We walked in that room, and all I remember is her saying, I'm sorry, Mr. Peters, but you have Alzheimer's. Then she started handing me all these little bits of paper. I just pushed them away towards Debbie. I didn't need to know how to deal with it. I already had. My own mother. When we eventually left the hospital, it was like this day had been stamped in my brain. I can remember everything from that cold autumn day in September. The way Debbie held her dad. and that look she had on her face when she knew that she would have to tell her son that his granddad had Alzheimer's. But that look from Tommy, he had no idea what he'd just been told at this point, even though I could now tell it was true. Because he could not remember one thing that had just been said, and it was killing me. And I looked at my friend who had driven us there, and I just remember him asking what was up, and then telling him and watching his face drop. On this day I felt like my life had ended, losing my soulmate. I never thought I would smile again. It's just the fact that I have to live knowing that Tommy will die long before his body does, and then I'll have to sit and look at a shell of what Tommy used to be. Now, 3 years later, 2018, Tommy can't even walk now. He doesn't even look at me anymore. When he does, he seems to tell me to fuck off, or to bring him chocolate. I don't even remember the last time he even told me he loved me. Sometimes I sit on a night looking at him, wondering if he's going to die, just to move on to a better place. And I feel my heart snapping every time I look at him. It feels like a little part of me is dying with him, but it hurts so much. It's a pain I've never felt before. Then, when I look into his eyes, it's just nothing. Do you know, Debbie, nights are so bad. I sit there and I can look into his eyes. There's nothing there. It's all gone. That love, that hope we used to share. There's nothing left. He can't do it anymore. Just gone. Just gone. June 2018, 3 days before my birthday. I now feel free. I hate to say it, but I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. But then I've also never felt so lost, so alone. I've never felt so empty, so cold. I've lost my soulmate, my best friend. Now, everything is just There it is, an untold story has been told, but it's not over just yet. I'm sorry, Debbie, but you have to understand. I just couldn't live without him. Life without your dad wasn't worth living. We love you.
Is a many splendid thing. It's the April rose that only grows in the early spring. Love is nature's way of giving a reason to be living. The golden crown that makes a man a king.